Hey guys, it's Mathil here once again, and with Delve, or Endless Delve ending. That sounds a bit dumb, doesn't it? With the end of the Endless Delve League, uh, I wanted to do a bit of a wrap up on the last few days of my characters that I played. I did end up playing through to the end of the week, and there's just a little bit to talk about, as well as that Flashback is starting in just a few minutes, and then the new supporter packs for the next big expansion and core supporter packs are officially out. So I'll just show you a few clips of those when I went ahead and got some. So this is still the Gladiator Bleed Earthquake. It's a pretty solid character. It got through to level 93, 94, something like that, pretty damn smoothly. And I was trying to push my depths going downwards without too much playtime. I was maybe putting in a few hours a day, so nothing too serious. End up hitting depth 500, and that's probably around the point where things start to hurt pretty damn bad, and a lot of things can one-shot you, or not quite one-shot you, but you can get a lot of damage on the incoming. So you got to kill things quickly, and Bleed Earthquake was a reliable way of doing that. Can recommend it for any starter or sort of flashback, whatever the hell you want. What you're seeing now, though, is another character, because I did find some items that really made me want to make my first Blade Vortex Poison. It's a pretty meta build, lots of people play it. I went an occultist version though, which is kind of hipster and not necessarily the best choice, but I did find some items that really made me want to do this thing, including the All necklace that gives the Envy aura. I was wearing a Cherubim's, I had 2 obliteration ones. With all of that together, I kind of just thought, hey, it'd be fun to make my first little scuffed poison Blade Vortex, since it totally doesn't matter in this little league how good a character is, the single target, the overall balance. It's just a bit of fun running around basically clearing packs of enemies. And the explosions, my god, did they feel juicy. As an occultist, you do have even more explosion chance with the chaos explosions on top of the obliteration ones, and it cleared like a dream. So we just fire up a few blade vortexes using Unleash, so every single time you're casting, you do get a few blade vortexes going off. You just run through enemies with a phasing flask. You have Plague Bearer that helps you do a bunch of extra AoE damage, and then the explosions speak for themselves while we're running through these packs of enemies. You do also use a few other things like a Void Sphere. I did have a couple of curses using Despair on Hit Ring, Blasphemy Temp Chains. Probably won't really bother going fully into the character. No, wait, I will. Yeah, I'll go into the character straight after this. In any case, yeah, it's not the strongest character. It wasn't the best thing, but I think it will be easy to do on a budget for a flashback, for a start of a league, if not too much changes in Blade Vortex Town, and a lot of people do that for Assassin. And then I just wanted to show you a few of the supporter packs that just came out. These are all being modeled on a Witch to start with, and then I jump onto a Marauder, and I think they're all pretty damn nice. They are based off of old League content, so they do kind of mesh nicely with some of your old League rewards, if they exist, if you have them, that is. The weapon effects are all pretty damn cool. I'd like to think that the first few supporter packs are pretty damn good value for what you get with the points and the effects and all of that. Of course, they are just pixels and just cosmetics, so value is kind of a silly word, but of course, if you're going to go in on this stuff is what we're kind of talking about. I'd like to think that, yeah, everything even up to the Harvest, which is $240, quite a lot of money, is pretty damn good. This here is the last supporter pack, the Atlas one. The back attachment's kind of funky. The character effect kind of funky. Wasn't a huge fan of the armor set or the real helm attachment, even though the helm did look okay. Overall, yeah, I'm not sure it's super worth going in on the hardest supporter unless you really want that back attachment and you really want the character effect. Otherwise, I thought the others looked pretty damn good, and there's some modeling on a Marauder now, and then there's a little bit of modeling on a Ranger at the end. So I suppose, want to jump into the Occultist Blade Vortex, just show you what it kind of looks like to put one of those together, and then talk just a little bit about Flashback, though even with an hour to go, I personally have no idea what the fuck I'm going to be playing. So let's jump into the build. So silly me, yeah, the thing has kinda ended since I'm doing this very last minute and I can't log in to show you the character. It's avoided. Fuck. Anyway, there's not much to really show. It is just my little attempt at a poison blade vortex. I've never seen anyone else's made before. I just know that, you know, they zoom around and they explode and they do good poison clear and damage and all of that. So I'm aware that they work, and I know that Assassin is quite commonly one of the most flavor of the month ones, because I would imagine just lots of movement speed, and then it boosts your single target a good bit too. But I wanted to make a Pathfinder. Then I just kind of started thinking about occultist, since I've got some curse rings, and I thought it would be pretty nice for the added explosion chance to guarantee it, kind of. And in the end, it did work out pretty well. We were exploding just about everything, and that was hard carrying some of the clear as well. The explosions were actually killing things like 100-0 quite nicely, because they do scale off of your chaos damage as well. So what we're running is 2 obliterations. Since I found 2, thought I'd make one of these characters. Typically, I think you'd weapon swap into something a bit better for single target. Had a Joffrey's helm, so fucking whatever. Cherubims, which I think is pretty nice just for the extra chaos damage. The leech I didn't actually utilize because I didn't have any leech, but I would think an Atziri flask or a good delve leech ring, or some leech on an amulet would work nicely for your sustain, and then everything else kind of whatever. We did have an All's Uprising, which said envy reserves no mana, and envy is just an aura that gives you added chaos damage to attack and spells. So it's like an added chaos gem, but about half the value. So it's a decent little boost, but you could do better with an amulet, I think. Just has like some chaos dot multi, some shit like that. But envy's okay as well. And then everything else is pretty whatever. Despair on hit ring, and that's kind of good, but you could just do a Witchfire flask if you have it. I was running in the end on the character, if we find Blade Vortex, I'm blind, there it is. Unleash, so that just lets you cast several Blade Vortexes at once. For every one cast, you'll get like 3 or 4 of these just popping off. Unbound ailments, deadly ailments, and poison, since we do need poison chance somewhere, since I'm not an occultist or a pathfinder. And then the passive tree just kind of goes a bit everywhere to get some life, get some area. Got some cast speed here, the little chaos shit up here. You'd probably be using like cluster jewels ideally if you're doing one of these builds. The poison stuff here for spells, the additional curse, since we were running Despair, Temp Chains, and Enfeeble. And I was getting Enfeeble coming from Orbis Storm's curse on hit, and then chaos stuff here, some poison stuff here, some chaos stuff there. With real gear and whatever, I'd probably be trying to hit 5,500 sort of life. Since we have Temp Chains and Enfeeble, it shouldn't be quite as necessary to get more. And then you'd have some Leech and possibly some Vitality action, something like that. That's pretty much it to say for Delve. It was actually a little bit more fun than I anticipated, because I took it very casually. I wasn't just pushing Delve non-stop, and I just wanted to try a few little builds, and that gave me the opportunity to do so. So, probably not an event I really desperately want again in the future, unless Delve is getting revamped, because I think it needs some fresher, newer stuff to happen. But still fun little event, and I think Flashback's going to be pretty damn good as well, if you can find some builds you want to play, because traditionally Flashbacks do make every single map, every single zone just quite a bit meatier. It's not as specifically insane as a Mayhem, because a Mayhem, you target like Harbingers or something, and the zone's pretty crazy with lots of Harbingers. It's a bit more sporadically insane. Like, you come across a map that will potentially have a Delirium Mirror and a Beyond, maybe something else as well, and that entire hour of mapping in that map is going to be just thick. And it is good opportunity to put some of your builds for clear speed to the test. And I think it is a pretty fun event overall, so I am looking forward to getting into it. I personally just have no idea what I'm going to play at the moment, so I could do just a nice simple Frostbolt with the pinpoint like I did for the Gauntlet event, since I didn't really get to do that too much. Maybe some Blade Storm is what I'm also thinking. I really like some Blade Storm characters, but if I go hardcore, if I go solo self-found just to be competitive again, then it's tough, because you need it to only be like the strongest version, and it's hard to really do a hipster build And you can quite comfortably go through some of my old builds and just pick some stuff off of that. Imagine what's going to be solo self-found friendly and hardcore friendly and stuff. And that's kind of what I'm doing as well, kind of just looking through it. Some of these definitely going to take some gear, and some of these definitely going to not be very hardcore friendly, but you have to adjust them for the way you play and for the leagues and stuff that you play in. If you can get some replica Alberons, then just about anything with that will be really good, I think. It's just going to be tough to do if I'm going to be HC and SSF and stuff like that. So hope you guys enjoyed the little video, and hope you guys enjoy Flashback. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.